Are you worried about traveling on a flight without ruining your baby's sleep? Or maybe you're just worried about flying and just surviving the flight with your baby or toddler without epic meltdowns? I have some tips for you. First, let's talk about mistakes that I want you to avoid. Trying to time your flight and make it perfect when it comes to your baby's naps, it's just unrealistic. With commute time to the airport, standing in security, getting in ticket line, all the different things and aspects that impact getting on a flight, there's just no way to make it perfect for your baby's schedule. Stressing over the wake windows, obsessing over keeping their schedule exactly perfect while you're on a flight is not important right now. And that is coming from a sleep consultant who is obsessed with baby sleep. The goal of your travel day is to protect sleep without perfection, without over obsessing, without stressing about every single thing. We want to make sure that your baby is still getting enough sleep, but if it's not perfectly on schedule, if it's not perfectly independent, if it's not exactly how it is at home, that's okay. You're not home, so it's fine. Stop stressing. But when it comes to things that we can control, we certainly will do that. So first things first, feed your baby at home. You don't know how long it's gonna take you to get through security. You don't know if you're gonna be, pulled over and examined and searched and everything, especially if you have formula or breast milk. I have seen countless accounts of people saying that they had to put their breast milk or formula through a machine that checks it to make sure it's not that it is what it is and it's not poisonous. Sometimes those things happen and we need to just try to feed your baby before you get there so that hopefully there's plenty of time to get through all the lines and everything that you need so you can just get to your gate and just chill. And if you need to feed your baby at that point, then go ahead, but feeding them before you even get to the airport is it's going to be so helpful. Do not bank on just scooping the baby out of bed, putting them in the car, getting to the airport and feeding them once you get through security. You have no idea how that security line is gonna look, so feed them first. A smart idea is to dress your child in layers. I mean, for yourself too, but mostly for your baby or toddler, you want to make sure that if they are wearing a sweatshirt and they get hot, that they have something under it so they can take a layer off and not have to go through your carry-on luggage to get to a different item of clothing. But you do want to make sure you have extra clothes in your carry-on, a full outfit from head to toe for yourself and your child. You don't know when those blowouts are gonna happen. And if you're on a flight, the blowout is probably happening on your lap. So make sure you have extra clothes for both of you. You want to make sure that you're changing your baby or toddler's diaper right before boarding time. Especially if you have a toddler who wants to use the potty, please use the potty in the airport because, I'm scared of airplane toilets. I don't know if that's just a me thing, but I don't like airplane toilets. They're kind of porta potty-ish with a breeze. Yeah, I just don't like them. So if your toddler is anything like me, then change their diaper or bring them to the bathroom before you get on the plane. And if you have a potty training toddler, I will say that it might be a good thing, right when you find your seat, go look at the bathroom so that if they have to go to the bathroom while you're on the flight, they at least are familiar with it. So that might be a good thing to do as well. One thing that you certainly want to make sure you do with your toddlers, preschoolers, literally any age child, especially even for yourself, you want to make sure that they're getting their wiggles out first before you even start the boarding process. Some airports are fantastic and have little kid play areas in the center of the mall, how they'll have a little play area for toddlers. If they don't, then you can just do some big movement activities with your child on your own. This can look like hop, skip, jump from this line to the next line on the airport floor. Just be considerate of the people around you and make sure that if you're trying to get your kids' wiggles out, that you're doing so away from grumpy old men. Usually it's the grumpy old men who are oh, I don't want to deal with this child right now. Or it's the young people who want nothing to do with children in their lives at that moment, but whatever. To help their ears, you can breastfeed, bottle feed, give a pacifier. For older kids, you can give them snacks or something to chew on. For older kids, you can give them gum, but all of those things can help. Now, when it comes to sleep specific items that you should bring on the flight, if you can, bring their sleep sack. If not, it's not a big deal. It's one of those like extra cherry on the top. If you can swing it, great. If not, that's fine. But if your child has a pacifier or a lovey, you want to make sure you have those. Definitely bring some white noise. There are tons of battery operated white noise machines, and you want to do a little mini bedtime routine. So bring a book or two to look at and go through with your child when you're trying to get them to wind down. This is especially important for the toddlers because they are very set in their routines and they probably really need that time to cue the sleepy hormone. Contact naps, carrier naps, stroller naps, all of these things on travel days, perfectly fine. Do not stress if they're not perfect, just protect the sleep. Travel naps don't need to be, nor will they ever be, absolutely perfect. So just know that however you need to get that sleep, just protect the amount of sleep that your child is getting, not how they are getting it. That's not as important when you're doing one travel day. If you're thinking about sleep training and you have a trip coming up, I highly recommend starting sleep training a month before you leave for your trip. I would slate 2 weeks for the process from start to finish for your child to be consistently sleeping through the night and taking fantastic naps. Having those initial 2 weeks and then a week or two before you leave, just to make sure that, you know, the dust settles from all the sleep training and you're not just going from hardcore sleep training into a trip. Just give yourself a little bit of wiggle room. And just keep in mind that travel days don't ruin sleep. It's one day. Obviously, one day there, one day back. But it's not going to ruin everything. But I do have a travel and sleep guide for you to help optimize your child's sleep environment while away from home. What to do if you're traveling time zones. What to do if you are flying, driving, if you're camping, if you're in a hotel, if you're in an Airbnb. All these things are covered on how to optimize your child's sleep. And I'm also covering exactly what to do when you get home. How to make sure that any of that travel sleep that you had to do that wasn't perfect, what to do when you get home to get your child right back on track. I will leave a link to the travel guide in the description box down below and in the comment section. And don't forget, we protect, not perfect. That is your slogan for traveling and sleep with a baby or toddler. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a lot from it, and keep blooming. Mwah.